next Monday. Roger Federer going to make his return in Doha, could play Dubai as well. However, he will not be playing and defending his title in Miami. This news coming out today that Roger Federer will not play the Miami Open. He's the defending champ. Remember, they didn't have a tournament last year. 2019, Federer beat John Isner. What do you make of this news, John?
Yeah, I think this is somewhat of a precautionary measure. And, you know, we've talked about this before, about Federer traveling with a big contingent coming over here. You're right, though. He's a defending champion in 2019 in Miami, and he won it 2 years before that. At the same time, he'd also missed this event for several years. So I think we're all waiting to see the state of his tennis and the state of his body in Florida. It's disappointing for Miami, but let's see what Roger has in store, and maybe that is subject to change.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he also skips the French, right? And if he does that, does he have enough matches to try to get him ready for the Wimbledon? You know, he could be trying to pace himself, be ready for Wimbledon, but, you know, that's also a trick, because you got to have enough matches and get enough rhythm and be ready for competition. So, you know, this could go both ways.
Hasn't played since January of last year, but will be playing Doha next week, a place that he has won 3 times. All right, how about Jen Brady playing her first match since making that magical run to the finals at the Australian Open? Up to a career-high 13 in the world, taking on Annette KONTAVEIT. And Kamau, I know you're big on Jen Brady. You thought she was actually going to win the match against Naomi Osaka.
I did choose her to win the Australian Open, so that was my mistake. But, you know, this could be just a little bit of mental fatigue, a little bit of hangover. You know, sometimes it's hard to have a quick turnaround. You get to the site, everybody's congratulating you, right? And then it's hard to sort of mentally regroup, reset, and get back and get hungry again. And we saw this here. You know, a little bit slower course. You see the ball sitting up for KONTAVEIT. KONTAVEIT moving forward. Jen Brady didn't have that same quick court that she had in Australia. Might be, you know, not the surface that she's, you know, really plays best on. And KONTAVEIT took full advantage of it.
Yeah, took that first set 6-1 and dominated in the second as well. That one goes a little bit long for Brady. Inside the top 15, third highest ranked American in the world right now. But today, not her day. Annette KONTAVEIT gets her first top 20 win since last summer, taking out Jen Brady. So, John, what do you make of this result for Brady? Is it just the hangover from getting to the finals in Australia, biggest result of her life?
I think so. I mean, Annette KONTAVEIT's a nice player. Let's not discount her. But I think Kamau said it. I mean, Jen Brady, remember, she's spent time in Germany. She had the quarantine. She had some doubles in Australia. She had 7 matches at the Australian Open. I think it all just sort of caught up with her. That's a lot of travel, a lot of mental fatigue, some physical fatigue. I wouldn't, you know, she's now lost 4 sets in a row, but I would not read too much into this result today, guys.
Yeah, and one of the challenges and her next steps in her development is when she wins, developing the ability to win again. We saw early in 2019 how there were 19 different winners, and all those winners of those WTA tournaments lost the very next week. So that's one of the next phases in her development, is learning how to win in consecutive weeks. And so, you know, that'll be something she continues to improve on and focus on going forward.
25 unforced errors today for Brady, but a nice win for Annette KONTAVEIT. Meantime, a former finalist in Doha, Garbiñe Muguruza, doesn't have her coach, Conchita Martinez, tested positive for COVID. We send our good wishes out to Conchita Martinez, but Muguruza in a battle in this one, taking on Kudermetova. The first set would go the way of Muguruza. The second set, though, it was pretty close, John.
Yeah, remember, this is Mugu's first match after having match point against Naomi Osaka in Melbourne. These guys played a year ago in the Middle East, and it went 6-4 in the third. So Mugu knew she had a battle, top 40 opponent on the other side of the net. But this was just a sort of a veteran win for a player who now is 27 years old. She had a bit of a hiccup in the second set and then closed strong. That is a nice win for her. And Sabalenka up next, so no rest for the weary, but a nice veteran effort for Mugu against a very fine opponent on the other side of the net.
Meantime, Victoria Azarenka, Svetlana Kuznetsova, Vika, 2-time champion, 39 combined titles. How about 4 Grand Slams on the court here? This match, Kamau, played out much different than the scoreline.
Absolutely. It was a tough match, but you could see Azarenka just really testing Kuznetsova's movement the entire match. You saw her skidding. You saw Kuznetsova had 2 or 3 wardrobe changes. It was much tougher than the scoreline saw, but you could see Azarenka really just pushing Kuznetsova's movement to the test and then really making her work for every point. And in the end, you saw Azarenka continue to move forward and take advantage of the movement, the slow court, ball sitting up in the middle of the court. and she just dominated.
Had multiple service games that were longer than 15 minutes, but Vika found a way. An hour and 42 minutes, 6-2, 6-3, as Azarenka gets the win. Needed 6 match points, John, to finish off this match against Kuznetsova. Obviously a tough opponent, 2 Grand Slam titles to her own credit. What do you expect to see from Azarenka? Because obviously she lost first round in Australia to Jessie Pegula, but gets a nice win here.
Yeah, ever since the U.S. Open, it's been a bit of a disappointment for Vika. That was not a great run to Australia. She lost to Jessie Pegula, as you said. And I still think Vika has a lot of good tennis left in her. And what she showed for about a 6-week window last summer gave us a glimpse of that, especially right circumstances, right court. Nice veteran win today. I suspect she would have liked to have finished that off earlier. But I think big things are coming from Vika, especially on these surfaces.
John says big things come out. 3 finals last year. Is that the type of season we should expect from Azarenka this year?
Yeah, I think she's really getting back to where she was prior to, having her baby. She's definitely starting to develop some consistency. She's competing well. I think she's got a solid team where we saw a bunch of team changes early on. And I think she's going to have a consistent year. I mean, she the type of game that she plays, moving forward, right, really taking the ball down the line. She's got one of the best backhand down the lines in the history of tennis. And that always positions her to do well. So, I'm expecting a nice, consistent year from Azarenka.